Oh, it's just not as exciting.
Because there's no clink. Bing. Okay, pretend like there is. Dink.
Okay. Oh, did you say I was starting?
Yeah, I think I did. Well, I sort of said it don't matter, but yeah, if you wanna. You always do because you set the pace, you set the tone, seems like.
I like
Anyways.
setting the stage.
Yeah, you do. You set the stage and then I flow with it.
So anyway, hi everybody. Welcome to our we typically hang out. We do a hangout usually tonight. So I'm just like all out of sorts. But anyway, welcome to our blab that's usually a hangout every Wednesday. Every single Wednesday. We show up. Once in a while we have to cancel, which is unusual, but we show up for our we call it Hangout with Mentors. And there's a whole reason for that term. And you'll just get it as you get to know us. And if you don't already know us, yeah, it won't take long. Throughout this hour, you will. And for those of you that know us, kind of get why we hang out with mentors on Wednesday nights. So it's for our existing members and clients and the people of our inner circle right now. And it's also for their benefit so that they can invite people that they're connected to, their prospects, and just kind of get an idea what we're doing, get some training. We always pick some sort of thought-provoking or training topic, and then they can get a glimpse of our value, and that helps them convert their sales. So it really is like multi-layered on that. So yeah, I'm Susan Batchelder, and I absolutely love working with my unstoppable partner here, Tammy Montgomery. Our topic tonight is just going to be really exciting. We talked about it a bit last night on our Tuesday night blab, but tonight we're going to add some how-to and some ideas and strategies of how to use proof and leverage and why you should, maybe when you shouldn't, how to do it with grace.
Class.
Yeah. And we're improving it and adjusting all the time as well. But yeah, definitely. And this is an area of Tammy's expertise and an area that I'm just kind of stepping out and being goofy just for a little while, just to play along.
Oh, no, not for a little while. It's going to be continuous.
Just the parts of it. Yeah, just the parts of it that we're going to talk about. But then there's going to be parts that I'll explain, and then everybody will understand why I joke about flashing the cash. So Tammy, tell us first of all, can we give that like 2-minute Reader's Digest? Who are you? Who is Tammy Montgomery, and why are you so amazing?
Am I amazing?
Absolutely.
Well, just dating back for a little bit, I've always enjoyed really just working with people, and I'm a people person. Okay. I'm a very social person, and I never really used to be, like, just dating back a little bit here when I was in my 20s. I just really didn't know what I was going to do with myself, to be honest. I was told that I was not college material. I was told by a lot of different influences in my life that I wouldn't amount to things. I wouldn't amount to much. So I had a lot of negative, I guess you could say, and I always try to give people that know me a little bit more of who I am. So that's why I changed up my story a teeny bit. But a lot of times I was told that, number one, you can't do what men can do. I wanted to play baseball when I was a kid, and I'm like, well, why can't I play baseball? I'd say to my dad, and he says, because you're not a boy, and I'd be like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. I'm damn good at it. You know what I'm saying? So why can't I play baseball? But back then in the 70s, they didn't have any girls on baseball teams. So what the heck? I still showed them up, and I've always had that competition that kind of driving me because of that, people telling me that I can't do something, So inside me internally, whenever someone tells me or whenever someone does that to me, I actually do the exact opposite. I don't go back into my shell. I literally push 10 times faster and harder, and Susan knows that about me, just with working with me for the past 8 months and knowing me for a year. So so this has been embedded in me and ingrained in me for many, many years. I've been self-employed for 26 years. And when I see people telling me that they can't do something, I may be a little bit tough and a little bit hard with that person, because you know what? I'll say, well, what's your choices? Like, you can't wither up and die, right? We're all here. We're here on this earth for a reason. We're still here, right? So why not make the best of it? So that's my character. So I'm always pushing and pulling and lifting people up, because you know what? That lifts me up at the same time, if that makes sense. Absolutely. So that's what I think is a good quality in any leader too, and anyone that runs businesses, is that they look up. And I've had upwards to 22 people in an office, in my own office, sitting around me and next to me, look up to me to say, and to like rely on me, like for their livelihood. So this to me is awesome, because I can help people. I don't want people relying on me, don't get me wrong there, but I'm saying I can help people make their financial future better. And when your financial future is better, gosh, you can do whatever you want to do, right? You can lose weight, like for me, for example. You can take care of yourself better when you have the resources. So that's kind of a little bit reason why I'm in this industry. The reason why I'm in top tier in specific is because you can make a crap load of money fast. I don't know how else to say it. You can't do that with many other programs or products. You have to push them. You have to get hundreds and hundreds of people in, dozens of people in some circumstances, and then it may take like how long to get paid out into your bank account. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just really, I know that's just really random tonight. Maybe it's because we're on this blab, Susan, but I always do that with these blabs. I'm like, it's like random to me, but that's who I am. I like to teach people skills, and I like to teach them strategies, incentives. Like, in other words, once they join us, to show them how to get people to take action fast, because there's a psychology not only behind whatever your career is. If you're a nurse, there's a psychology behind that. If you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're an attorney, there's psychologies behind all those careers. See what I'm saying? So in this business, there's psychology, and I love psychology in college. I did take psychology in college, even though I dropped out of college. I did take it. That's like my favorite thing, is to read on psychology, how people tick. I'm always like trying to figure out how do people tick, right? And I have a pretty good sixth sense about that, about how people are and whether I want to really work with them or not. So, so that's a little bit about me. Does that give you a little bit more different feeling tonight than what I normally do?
Yeah, that's a shift in the angle, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks. So that's kind of a little bit about me. What about you, Susan? Who is Susan? And why are you like so determined? Like, okay, tonight, like, okay, she's just pushing through. She just does it anyway. So what is it about you that we should know about you that makes you tick?
I thought you were going to say, why are you so quirky?
Quirky? No. I couldn't. Well, that too. Can I ask that question secondly?
I'll see. Anyway, that's just like, those word bubbles that come into your mind, or, well, maybe I'm the only one that gets those, but anyway, like pop, and a word comes in. That's the word. As you were saying that, I thought she's going to ask why I'm so quirky.
Quirky. I like that. I like quirky. I like quagmire. Those are cute names. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's funny. Because I'm quirky. And determined. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll follow along a little bit in kind of that little shift that you took in describing it. And I'll start from how you were describing that, like what makes you tick and the part of this business that you really love. And when I first came online, I was lost with that because I really did love my nursing career because I literally, like, that was what made me tick. I absolutely loved helping somebody that was really intensely sick, helping them literally, like, they were not breathing, and then getting them to the breathing point, or stopping the bleeding, or getting their heart rate going again. And I just love the adrenaline of it. And yet I never got like excited or worked up during it. I was just real calm, and I just loved that excitement. And to me, that was really powerful. I also really liked working with the people who were just really having trouble accepting like something traumatic, terribly traumatic had happened to them. And then I just love that moment of helping them shift into seeing that it's okay and what's possible and that kind of thing. So I honestly didn't know how, I'm like, how am I going to shift that to all this digital technical stuff? So what was really exciting was when I realized I can still save lives just in a different way. And essentially that's what we're doing. Just like you said, we're helping them change their lives, literally saving their lives. Because some people that come to us are in dire straits. But one of the most stressful things is not having enough money to pay the bills, not having enough money to feed your kids, not having, like, it just, the worst loss of freedom is to not being able to just sustain some sort of comfort lifestyle or feed yourself. So that's how I had to convince myself to be passionate about this industry. So speaking of making you tick, and as you were talking, that's what I was writing down. I was saying, when you figure out your why and figure out the psychology, like your own psychology of why you are going to do this business, that's when it takes off. When you figure out what makes you tick, what excites you about this business, that's what makes you tick, and that's what we help people with. And that's when people start succeeding, is when they really get down to the nitty gritty and dig in on the inside. Then on the outside, it just starts happening.
Okay.
So that's a bit about me. It describes my character and why I am so determined. It's not just, initially it was to save my own situation and life. And then it was to go on and save it for everybody else. As many
exactly. Yeah, because that's a really good point, because like I can tell someone right away when I'm talking to them on the phone, whether they're, and just because of just so many people that have obviously joined us and that will join us in the future, I just project myself. I just think to myself, and I see all these people ahead of me. It's a weird thing. I can do this, but just hundreds of people are lined up, right? And I've always had this mindset like that, Susan, because if you're a lot like me in that regard, because you're wanting to save, like, because you were in that career of saving people's lives with nursing. And that to me is fascinating about you, because for me, if I look at the sight of blood, I drop. I mean, I'm the total opposite of you in that regard. So like I'll just give you a quick example. When I had my son, when he was a baby, they put him on me when he was born, and he had a club foot. So I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? So when I took him home from the hospital, he had a cast on his foot. So I could never be in that profession. So I had to figure out a way that, you know what, I want to make attorneys' salaries. I want to make doctors' salaries. So, but I can't stand the sight of blood, but I want to help people. So, you know what I mean? So you figure out and you weave through life, right? And like I said, that's just a fascinating story. And you told it so cool last night too. People can look at the replays on here and how you told your story. But the thing about it is like the medical industry, and I'd say, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be eating because I wouldn't be able to do it. But yeah, that's just pretty cool. So it kind of leveraged you into wanting to do this industry, right? Is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And I had no other option, because I was pretty much stuck in bed. So I couldn't work, and I had spent my savings and dug a hole of debt. So I had no option. So I had to figure out how I could fit myself into the only option I could see, which was somehow working online.
And I like
So-
how you say that, because there's a famous saying that I've always gone by, and I tell people all the time when they say, well, I I don't have much coming in. I don't have no money coming in. And I'm like, I haven't had no guaranteed money coming in for 26 years. So it's a mindset. It's literally burn your bridge behind you. And that's how you and I are. That's another reason why we tick and we make this unstoppable team, is because, like, literally we have no net. Everybody that's on this, maybe it's popping on because they just got off of 9 to 5 or whatever. I mean, literally, if you have no net and you have to make your bills, you will make your bills. I mean, Marshall Silver taught me that. One of the huge thought leaders, in this industry. He helps thousands of people. Obviously, Tony Robbins says the same thing. If you have to make it happen, subconsciously it'll start happening, and then you'll figure this all out. So with all the pieces and all the strategies and the things that Susan and I talk about, it will boom, like it'll connect you. Like, wow, well, they're doing blabs. Guess what? I better be doing blabs. Or they're doing Hangouts. Guess what? I better be doing Hangouts. Or they're sending that email out. Guess what? I can copy and paste what they're sending out. I can build a list like they're building a list. That's all this is so simple. You just look at people and what they're doing, and then you leverage yourself into that position. That's what I did. So that's kind of where we're weaving into the leverage subject of this tonight. And really just studying what people do, and you figure out where you are, you figure out how you tick, and then you go for it. That's all I can say. You just go for it, and you don't quit, and you don't look back. And that's when you can start having the $1,000 days. That's when you can start having $5,000 days, $10,000 days, because then you take that money that you made and then you leverage it into more advertising. And then you keep going and running. And damn it, don't stop. Once you get going.
Yeah, absolutely. No stopping.
And if you get so inundated that you can't take it anymore, then you hire people. That's what I did. Seriously. I mean, if you want to hear a teeny bit of story, how we built the empire of our real estate real quickly, if you want to hear that. I don't know if anybody would be interested.
Sure.
But it's a story of leverage. We took an $8,000 house that we bought, that we saved and scrimped and saved and scrimped and saved and scrimped when we were in our 20s. I got pregnant with Robbie, and I said, I do not want to live in the city. So I said, well, let's start, getting a house that we can build. So we took that $8,000 home, we sold it into $32,000. We took that $32,000, put a down payment on a $200,000 home, took that $200,000 home, and see what I'm saying? Like with leverage, with real estate, you can do that. With businesses like this, you can do that. If you have zero money and you have good credit, you can even get into a home-based business. I can teach you how to do that. So leverage comes in many forms. You can look at leverage in businesses with financial stuff. Like I talked to 2 people today, in fact. Okay, they have no money, but they have pretty good credit. Well, guess what? We can get you financing for top tier. See what I'm saying? So don't ever feel like you don't have leverage, because you do have leverage in life. And there's a lot of times people don't think out of the box to get to that point of knowing how to leverage themselves. So like think of selling something, right? You can sell something. Don't sell your kids, as Susan's looking at one of them. Don't like sell your kid. I'm just saying, like, don't sell your kidneys either. I mean, I've heard some crazy stories. One person told me one time they're selling their plasma. And you know what? If that's what you got to do, I mean, to survive. But I'm just saying, you can leverage yourself. Me personally, I don't believe that when someone comes to me and says, I can't do it, I have no money, I want to work with you, but I can't do it, I don't have no money, I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, you're already putting in your mind that you can't. Or like switch it around and say, I can. Because if Tammy can do it after my market crash and losing so freaking much in my life, millions of dollars in real estate, same with Susan, and she was working from her bed. If we can do it, my God, you can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can do it.
think you're frozen.
Am I frozen?
Well, for me, you were anyway, but you're back now.
So, I mean, that's just, I get a little, it's probably because I'm like jazzed up right now, talking. But it's the truth. Don't say you can't do it, because that's the direction you're going to go. If you keep thinking that you can't do it, pretty soon you're going to believe yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And then you just talk yourself right out of it.
Yeah, the self-talk is a big part of it.
It is.
Yeah, the live stream.
It is. It's a big part of it.
It's 1 second.
I can tell you later.
Stephanie, hey Stephanie.
Pre-workout in so long, and I haven't actually had my heart rate.
Our friend Stephanie's on. We were gonna do a hangout, Stephanie, and then what we had to do is we had to change it to a blab format. So, hey China.
Okay, I'm back.
But it's working out though. So it's a different feel than a hangout. But we're just giving some. We're going to be dropping some other nuggets here tonight about how to leverage yourself into businesses, once you get your business rolling, how to leverage it into more and more. And that's what I've always been able to do, as long as the program is, can handle it, right? Which ours can, luckily.
Absolutely. Where I was going to lead into what you were talking about, Tammy, and it's twofold into like kind of different options. So the first one that I'd like to highlight is I really liked how you mentioned leveraging yourself. And so when you're starting and you don't have a lot of money resources, what are some of the things that like we're referring to as leverage? I'm just going to list those off because we talked about them last night. So that kind of blends into tonight's topic. So leverage, okay. Time, money, and then the other resources are knowledge, tools, people, reputation, your upline, leaders, mentors, experience, and kind of along that thinking. So when you're first starting, if you don't have a lot of like the money resource, but you do have time, well, then you leverage your time. And then if you don't have a lot of the specific knowledge of what you have to do, etc., and all of that, then you leverage your determination. And it totally fits in with how we started our stories today. So then you leverage your determination. You leverage, you're going to have to dig up and leverage your courage. If you're a parent, you're going to leverage that look in your kids' eyes that you have to tell them no every time they want to do something fun or exciting, or when you're in the grocery store, that feeling, that pit in your stomach as you're looking of trying to figure out what you can buy for groceries. You leverage that feeling. Like, do you like that feeling? I know I sure didn't. So
no.
You stop and you pause and you remember that feeling and leverage that, turn it into that fuel, that thing that makes you tick.
Yes.
So there's that kind of leverage, which is really cool. It can be really maybe some of the most powerful leverage.
It really can be the most powerful leverage.
That's what got
is that feeling, Susan.
That feeling. I didn't like that feeling, and I wanted to get away from that feeling so bad that I did whatever it took. I did whatever it took. Here,
exactly.
I'm going to flip that into, and I'll come back. I'm going to make myself a mental note because I'm going to talk about that other leverage.
Can I tell you a real quick story about that terrible sinking feeling? I think I've told you, but I don't know if some of the viewers have heard it.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hold on to that, and I'll just finish this other leg before I go into that leverage. And then there's the other leverage that in the beginning that you really need to not forget about. And that's the people that you're joining, the community, their experience, their expertise. And so when you're first starting, you have to grab onto every piece like that. And that's all leverage. And it's how you place it in your mind, the value that you give it, the importance, and the weight of how important it is to you and being aware of the value of all those pieces of leverage. That's what will get you started. Okay, go with your story.
Well, I want to just say one thing is never, ever, ever, ever be comfortable. Because when you get to be comfortable and something just literally like slips out from underneath you, like I just talked to someone today that it slipped out from underneath him. And so don't ever, even if you're way, way up high, don't ever think that, you're just it. Because the bigger you are, the higher you can fall. You know what I'm saying? So when you do fall, you get real humble. And then you think to yourself, wow, what's life all about? It's just totally worth it. What I was wanting to say about that was one thing, but what I wanted to say about that terrible feeling is when we first moved to Arizona and our credit was shot because of what happened to us, and wanting a real neat place to stay and to rent and to lease, actually, and this guy like looking at us like, well, your credit sucks, so you can't get this house. And then you turn to your 7 and 11-year-old and you say, sorry guys, we can't get that. That right there gave me so much fire in my belly, I call it, that I was just like, that's it. Gloves are off, game's over. And then we started really looking at things and rebuilding our credit. But the thing is like,
at that point, Tammy, you leveraged your experience, your willpower, your determination, and that yucky gut feeling.
It did.
So when you think you have nothing,
when you think you have nothing, you have something.
You have something that you can leverage.
You do. As long as you always have your spirit, I say to people, as long as you have that drive and you have an asset, and the asset's right up here. You have an asset. Like if you, let's say, and then even in this industry, I've had to start over a few times. I had an MLM that took a $10,000 check away from me for no apparent reason. So if you have that, and I've had people that stayed with me and have, been by me and encouraged me and said, but you can't give up. You're so good at what you're doing. So you have the knowledge and you can just repeat the process all over again, but into a different industry, a different, business program. That's what I'm trying to say tonight. So yeah, as long as you have the knowledge and the grit, then you can do anything in life. I truly believe it. I believe in other people more than I believe in myself. I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying. But I'm just trying to put it out there. Like there's so many times people will say, well, I can't do this. Well, you're telling yourself you can't do it. I'm not a techie person. So if I can do this and talk on the phone and get comfortable with people, I can make a friend in 10 seconds now. You know what I'm saying? On the phone. I prefer them to see a video first before I talk to them, but that's just how I am now. So I got the flow down pat. But yeah, the leverage that you get, that terrible, horrible sinking feeling, you leverage that and then you just go for it.
Yeah.
And you don't look back.
And just appreciate every level up, everything that you learn, appreciate how incredibly valuable that is, and then leverage that. So if you learn how to work Aweber and how to set up follow-up series in there and how to order traffic, leverage that knowledge and share it with others, teach others. They're going to say, oh, wow, she taught me this. She had so much patience, or he showed me this and I had no idea of this. And you're leveraging your knowledge. And then they're going to join you, or they're going to remember you and buy something from you or join you later.
Absolutely.
That's what I did. I would learn more, share it, teach, learn, do, teach, learn, do, teach. And I didn't have anything else. I didn't have extra money to invest or anything like that. So I just leveraged my knowledge and built my way up.
Mm-hmm.
A couple
Absolutely.
now, but I'm still sharing.
Yeah, what you do. Yeah, exactly. And then I think the most successful people share just tons of their value, the most successful people online. So, they do both. They show actual money proof, but then they show that they can actually train someone and teach people. And that's the thing, is like, we do both. Like people, will say, gosh, I'm going to give you this testimonial now because, you've you've changed my life. And that's the most rewarding feeling. When you get to that point, I'm telling you, it's almost like, what is it like? What kind of addiction? Because I don't have one, but except for, well, I used to like pop, but now I don't drink any of that stuff. But I'm just saying, it's just addicting when you start hearing that and the feedback and, people saying, thank you for doing this for me or whatever. It's just, you want to do more and more and more.
Absolutely. Gratitude and appreciation is incredibly rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more rewarding than accolades on, some leaderboard or anything like that, because it's usually when people share that, they're sharing it from their heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So about the proof. It's a funny topic for me.
It is a funny topic because you get this so funny face whenever you start talking about it.
So can I talk like Frank now, though?
Yes. Let's be frank with everybody.
Like, I'm not Frank, but I'm going to talk just like Frank.
Exactly. I'm on a live feed. Oh, okay. No problem. Hey, we got, this is the real deal. We got kids again. Say hi, Rob.
Hi.
That's my son.
Hi.
I'm Rob. My handsome man. Handsome boy.
I'll never
He's
forget
helping
the
doing
first time
something. Okay, he's gone. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
He had to grab something.
We've got that wonderful delay thing again.
Yep. Okay, he's gone.
I'll never forget the first time I said that, and you had trouble composing yourself after that. I'm not Frank, but I'm going to talk like Frank for a minute here. Is that okay?
That was hilarious. That was on one of our videos we did.
Yeah. Actually, it was the first one that I was flashing the cash.
Yep.
So what was I going to say? I was going to maybe explain my annoying stubbornness about flashing the cash. It's because it's kind of funny, and I've loosened up quite a bit on it. But and I understand why it impresses upon people, but it just never did with me, because here's the reason why. I think deeper than just the exposure of the cash. That's why I don't find flashing cash offensive in any way or negative. It's just, I think deeper. So you made that cash, but what I want to know is how much time did you have to put in to make that cash? What did you have to do? What did you have to learn first? And the biggest key is, so let's just say, for big impressive numbers, somebody's flashing or showing all this proof of $100,000. They've made $100,000. And we all know that's impressive. But my question is always, okay, well, yeah, but how much time and how much money did you invest to make that 100,000? What if they spent 90 to get that 100? Is $10,000 still impressive?
No.
I'm sorry to burst anybody's bubbles, but if you had to spend $90,000 to make $100,000, that $10,000.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's your ROI. Basically, it comes right down to all my training and everything like that. When I flipped a property, made $52,000. We paid $14,000 for it. So you figure that's a damn pretty good ROI. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at the whole picture. Yeah. Exactly. So when it comes into leverage, like, yeah, you got my numbers. My brain's thinking, yeah. So an example,
people need to look at not just, it's good to, you need to show that as well, but I just want to impress upon people that you have to look at people's, how do they walk through their whole online presence? What kind of person are they? Are they generous? Are they sharing lots of value? Do they have integrity? Are they accountable? Do they show up when they say they're going to show up? Do they do what they say they're going to do? Or do they lure you in and provide all these promises, like within 30 days you're going to make da 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 or whatever, and then it just doesn't happen. Then it doesn't matter how many hundreds that person is flashing. maybe it's not as impressive. I don't know. So that's my thing with the cash. So now,
Well,
like,
that's
I
a pretty
have-
good thought, because I was lured into that too, and it's like, okay, are you going to give me specific resources and training resources? And they didn't. I had to figure it out. So like between you and I, we have it figured out, and we give people those resources. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. Because I mean, many times where I leverage free still all the time. I will always have my own Craigslist account because I'm kind of a maniac when it comes to controlling my own advertising. I will always have Backpage ads going, even though I can outsource them. I will always have a Facebook account that I'm always managing myself. I always will have a YouTube account. I always will have an Instagram and a Twitter account that I always do myself. I will start outsourcing more and more. I outsource the Backpage, Craigslist, all these different places, right? And people want to know who that person is, and everybody on our team knows who it is. But there's people that have tried to fake that they're on my team in the past. Oh, I'm on Team Tammy. This was like a couple of years ago. I lost your training site. And I'm like, who are you? You know? So then I had to start blocking it and cloaking it and doing all this kind of stuff. And then now you know what I'm talking about, Susan. I told you that story. And it's like, the thing is like, you know, you have to measure what your results are. So, you know, I used to figure it out like, okay, well, every 20 to 30 leads, you know, depends on whatever flow, I know I can get a sale. I mean, I pretty much know my matrix and what I have on my sheet and on my pipeline, you know what I'm saying? So you just get a feel for it as you go. And then you can just leverage, you know, those results, and then leverage, say, you know, and do videos on, well, hey, I got all these leads. So people know, if they know you know how to generate leads, guess what? You're almost like, people are going to start following you. And that's what happened with me. They started, you know, following, and the thing is like, you have to get down to the brass tacks of just showing your knowledge. If you don't show your knowledge, you're really kind of being selfish in a lot of ways. If you've learned something and you don't share it with people, you're kind of being selfish.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You just have to sit down and do the videos. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah. So do you think we kind of shared enough from that angle? And what do you think? And we don't have to. This is just an idea that came into my mind. Do you think, because we're getting to the top of the hour, although we started late, but do you think over the next 15 minutes it would be a good idea to just give them examples of how to put into action leverage and proof with that class and Grace that we discussed earlier, so that they can go away with ideas of how they should use proof and leverage? Do you want to do that? Or
Yeah.
should we save that for a separate thing? Or
No, we can do that. Is everybody game? Yeah, you measure your effort, results, ROI, and other leverage issues, duplication, get results, we said. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's scalable and predictable, yes.
yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, like, a lot of times people think, let me just say this, like with internet marketers, the typical training of an internet marketer. Okay, I got to back up a little bit with big ticket. If are we gonna talk about big ticket specifically with the proof and leverage right now?
I think so. Like, we can give examples because it is slightly different.
That's all I've done.
Let's do that.
Okay, because like with big ticket, if I have it set up correctly and the sales funnel set up correctly, I don't need a ton of leads coming through like a typical internet marketer. Like an internet marketer would say, if I have a list of 10,000 people, X amount of dollars, I can pull out of that a month, like let's say 10 grand. Okay. Really, honestly, if you're a person that will pick up the phone and talk on the phone, you can make a lot more money than if your list is 10, because my list is pretty big, and like I make, you know, more, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like sometimes it doesn't make sense, the numbers. So you can't even go by that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If you have a list of 10,000, you should be making 10,000 a month. You can actually make more. You can make $20,000, $30,000 depending on your offer. And if you have a big ticket in your repertoire, in your portfolio, you can make $10,000 in a week if you do it correctly. and you offer incentives and bonuses and time sensitive offers. So I've done this for 6 years. I learned from a gentleman that taught, like, literally after you get off of a webinar, you have until midnight tonight to sign up. That's the kind of psychology, that's the kind of big ticket that I've always done. So it's not sit back on your laurels and, geez, don't, I'm going to let this person percolate in my AWeber for 12 follow-up series. No, make them take action. Make them get a hold of you. Do you have time to wait? Seriously, you guys say to yourself, do you have time to wait 12 email series or for a month for this person to get? So my psychology is I want them to call me within a day or two. If I can't have that person's number, I will figure out a way to get it. That's how I am now. So you have to just, in this world, you have to get on the phone, you have to connect, you have to build that relationship on the phone. You have to, once you start getting team members, answer that dang phone, set up a training if you need to, because that's what I do now on Saturdays, because it's just impossible to train every single person I have daily, right? There'd be no way. I wouldn't even be able to do any more business. So you have to schedule your time. But the thing is like with the big ticket, it is so different than any $25 offer, $100 offer where all those internet marketers are just expecting that system to do everything. So if you've been taught that way, you got to kind of get out of that, because you're either going to have a callback team or someone like myself or Susan to help you get those sales closed, specifically big ticket. And I've told everybody that's on my big ticket team that I will help you get those sales, because no one's going to sign up automatically and send you $500, $1,000, $2,000, $6,000, $22,000 without talking to someone. Let's just be real. They want to know about you, and they're going to want to know if you're going to be there with that kind of money. So don't ever think it's just going to just float into your bank account. You are going to have someone to help you, like a callback team or a team leader like her and I. So does that make sense tonight, Susan? Like sometimes these like gurus will say, oh my God, you're just gonna, these systems will do everything for you and it's gonna spit out cash on the other end. No. Even if you have the best, this is what I found out, even if you have everything spelled out on your website, they're still gonna wanna talk to you before they send you those chunks of money, just to make sure that you're gonna be there. You know how many times I've gotten a sale because someone else hasn't answered the phone in that program? Tons of times. So maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Don't answer your phones then. Bring them to. I'm sorry, I'm just being goofy. But it's the truth. I've had many people say, well, guess what? They didn't answer, so guess what? You get the sale. And it's simple as that. They just want to know someone's going to be there.
Yeah.
So I went on a little rant again.
Yes.
I'm ranting today. You notice that?
Yeah. So
I'm just passionate about what I do, Susan. You know what I'm saying? Like if I ever come across like way too direct, it's just because I'm trying to help people and I have that compassion and passionate.
Yeah, and that's very true. Absolutely. Can I go over my list of like the beginner kind of ideas of how to do leverage and proof?
Sure. Some reason it's scratchy again.
Or is it like my voice when I'm talking?
Yeah.
Is that better? Do you think it's the microphone?
It might be the microphone. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. What do you think, Karen? Is it okay? Is it scratchy?
Yeah, hopefully the recording is okay.
Oh, it's not on your end? Okay. So as long as everybody else can hear you good, that's good.
Scratchy.
It must just be scratchy on my end. It's scratchy for Gail.
Oh no, I don't want to be scratchy.
It's bad, someone said.
Oh no, okay. Now you guys are just pulling my leg.
No, it's really scratchy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, see, they're playing. Okay, so I don't have to tell this. I don't have to share this with you guys.
I still want you to share it, even though you're scratchy.
Okay, so I was just going to give some, like, just so you can walk away with some real meat and potatoes of how ideas, of how you can leverage. And one of them that lots of people don't think of is your story. Leverage your story. Leverage that. Just like how Tammy just described how she gets so passionate about it and she'll just go on and just tell you what she just really wants to tell you because she so passionately wants to help you. Leverage your story, leverage your passion, and that will pull people in or attract people, right? So leverage what you know and leverage you and your story with emotional transportation. Leverage how much of a benefit, whatever it is that you're offering, how much of a benefit it will be to the people. What kind of a solution it will be to them. Like, so tell the stories. Leverage, and as I mentioned before, the atmosphere of who you're working with, the community. Leverage there's a reason why Tammy and I have the benefits of joining, of anybody. It's not specifically for us, but it's so that our members, prospects, can see the benefits of coming into a community, a team that has weekly training, a private, secret Facebook group that shares regular content, resources, leverage that. Leverage what's already set up. Leverage the system. Mm-hmm. And those are the kind of step-by-step small ideas of what to leverage, and tell it in a story form, record it in a video, discuss how excited you are to be a part of it, discuss how much you're learning. That's all leverage. And you can show proof, right? You can do a screen share and show proof of what you're creating because of it. It doesn't only have to be facts. Or, like Tammy and I have both said numerous times, if you've generated your first 10 leads that came through by your videos, maybe, that's proof.
Absolutely.
And you can leverage that. So it doesn't have to be. And I think I just feel real protective for the people that feel like they're less than, or feel like they're not succeeding because they're not creating multiple thousands of dollars every day or something. Because you're not. You're not. You are doing lots of work. Leverage that.
Absolutely.
Leverage that. Show that proof. Because that's proof too. And that, you know what? That's exciting. Sometimes what's more exciting even than a big payday is some huge accomplishment that you just that you did. And it might be technical. It might be well, look how excited we are when people record that first video.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, Susan, is the thing is, like, everybody proof has experience.
Community works.
Mm-hmm.
So proof isn't just
proof is not just money and cash. No.
Yeah, but it
can. Because I didn't have it. I didn't have it when I first started.
Right.
But I said, you know what? I had the confidence, and everybody has this confidence. You were here, you had accomplishments up to this point in your life, right? You're accomplished getting into a home-based business. That's a huge accomplishment. There's some people that don't even dream of getting into a home-based business, or even have the courage to get into a home-based business. So you can say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm now into a home-based business. I am self-employed. And do a video on that. People are going to be attracted to you. Don't say, well, I don't know AWeber, so you want to join me? I mean, seriously, sometimes you know the word fake it till you make it. Like, you got to fake it until you really start. See what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have the proof. I didn't have the money proof. I didn't even know what the heck AWeber was, but I was so excited that when my leads started seeing, wow, Tammy is she's at least showing her face and's got a picture on her website. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, Susan. They do not have to, but you got to be confident. You can't be asking tons of questions in your mind. I can't help people, because you don't really honestly need to train them. We have that all set up. So you don't even have to train people. You just have to market. That's the crazy part about these systems, Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with you. You and I didn't have the proof in the beginning.
Right.
But we were excited. So do a video about being excited about it.
Being excited of what's possible. Because the possibilities are truly limitless. That's the key word for all of 2016. Limitless.
Limitless. Okay, I like that.
So,
I like
so yeah, that's really what I wanted to say. Like, just so people can go away with maybe something they never thought of, or a different angle, a different strategy that you can use for proof and leverage if you want. You don't have to. And like, I'm being goofy with the cat. Tammy does it so well, and people know her for that. And I do. I really admire how you show it. Even when you're describing it, you're just so natural about describing how. And you're not flashing it and boastful. You are sharing with people what this is possible, and that you're excited, and you know they can do it. So I do. I admire you in that. I'm just doing it out of like being goofy, and it's attention grabbing, and it is working, isn't it?
It is working.
Like,
and this is the other thing is like
show cash. Like, what is she doing?
Well, and the thing is like I get excited when people make a sale. I mean, I just had last week. I mean, you know, he made $4,000. I was excited. I made 400 of it. He made $4,000. You know, I mean, come on, who can't get excited for someone that's making that on your team? I get more excited when my team members make money than when I do, because I'm like, gosh, it's working. My training's working. I'm going to do it more and more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to reach out to more and more and more and more people. So yeah, I get just jazzed when they get their first lead and when they start getting that momentum. I see it over and over again, and it's a great feeling. You know, it really is.
Absolutely.
So I know you do. I know you get excited. I mean, you're just like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then we're like high-fiving in the background. And then we're like celebrating when they do their first video. We're like, yes, they did their first video. So
because you know that so much more is possible. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I like seeing transformations in people.
Mm-hmm. And how different they become as they become more confident. It's that layering of the confidence, and you just know they're going to run with it.
Right. Yeah. What was I like a year ago, Susan?
Yeah, very different. You were so shy when you came on that video, and so nervous. Yeah.
I was so used to doing.
Yeah.
I know. Now I'm like crazy. Yep. Manny, get out. I like that. That's kind of a cool. Manny, get out. Huh. Get out of where? I like some of these handles. I like, you know. We got a lot of people viewing it tonight, so that's cool. Somehow it got around, and then it went live, and the page went live. So that's great stuff for them to take into action, Susan. Can you think of anything else we can give them in action in the next 3 minutes? Action steps?
I can't. I'm good. I think I shared everything
I'll give them some.
I had on my mind on this topic.
Okay, I'll give them some.
Okay.
If they don't have any money to advertise, let's say, or they do have money to advertise, this is what I did. I did a lot of video. I just simply got over myself, and I started doing video. The other thing you can do, and do it daily. And in the beginning, set up your foundation. Have at least purchase your own name as a domain name. Do that. Do Backpage, Craigslist, do classified ads because it's direct response. And you can do those, and you can start driving traffic immediately. Make sure you have a Facebook page set up, because people are going to want to see that you're transparent. Even if you don't like Facebook, just put up a Facebook, put some posts up, motivational, inspirational, whatever you need to do, so that people will feel attracted to you and warm and start warming up to you. Have a fan page. Try to create a fan page as soon as possible. If I would have done that a long time ago, I would be just loving it. You can almost use your fan page as a blog. So you can put up posts about today, about blabs. Definitely set up Yeah, I said, well, yeah, definitely Instagram. But I mean, a Twitter. I don't even know Twitter much. I just tweet once in a while. I don't know. I'm gonna learn that. The thing is like, just do something though every day so that you don't keep putting it off. Because if you keep putting it off and say, you know what, I'm gonna watch that movie, or I'm gonna go do this, or I'm gonna do that, tomorrow will never come. And you got to be in the moment. You got to be in the moment today, and just really do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just sit back and listen to Susan and I and then not do any of this stuff. Because if you don't do it, then it'll just keep getting procrastinated. I can't stand procrastination. I hate it. And, and there's some things that I procrastinate. I procrastinated losing weight for 10 years until this year, And then when you started talking about live events and then, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, Tammy, I was like, dang it, I got to get my, in gear. So now every single day I don't procrastinate. Last night I walked late. I was walking. Sometimes my family worries about me. I was out until like 1, but I got my 4 miles in. So, but that's the thing is like, once you start something, leverage it into more and more and more.
And the best, most golden strategy will only work if it's put into action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's everybody going to do when they jump off of this blast?
Yeah. Well,
Don't go to bed.
We want to
advertising. Don't say, oh, I did it. I watched this blab with Susan and Tammy. That's my DMO. No, that's not going to get you exposure. You got to get yourself exposure. Even if it's not paid exposure, you got to be somewhere exposing your business.
That's right. Even if, whether you were taking notes, I'm a note taker. So if I'm listening to I'm writing notes. So if you were taking notes, or if you were just like listening and thinking about it, take something that really resonated with you during this hour. Take that and go and tell somebody about it. Post it in social media. Send out an email. In a direct message with somebody, strike up that conversation and put it into action right away, whether it be telling a story like I was just watching a blab on the Hangout with Mentors Hour, and I learned this and this and this, or I was reminded. Some things we're not learning. It's not something that we didn't know, but maybe because it's highlighted at the right time in the right mindset, it's fresh, and you're going to put it into different action. So go and put it into action and start talking about it with somebody right away. Share.
Yeah, because you just never know. They may be open to it.
Yeah.
In this industry,
you've got to think seriously about joining me, because I love, and I'm just going to give this as an example of what you might say. I show up every Wednesday with Tammy and Susan because they always show up. It's interesting topics or whatever you might want to say. And I always know that they're going to be there. So I love working with them. You should come and join me because it's a great place to be. Karen and Gail might use the example of, because say it's Karen talking, because I found Tammy and I decided to join her, and then I got to know Susan, and then we were all working together. So then we went to an event, and now I'm connected with Gail, and now everything is just going this way and that way, and we're helping each other, and this is all changes. So just go through the story and leverage why it happened and how it happened.
Yeah, that's how we started.
And we don't think of that, but that's proof.
It is proof.
It's
proof of our people building relationships within our organization right there.
Right.
You know,
my battery's almost going to die here, but I want to tell one little story about how pivotal moments can be. And you know what? To be honest with you, I don't think that Tammy and I realized that this was one of our pivotal moments of working together to this degree until I found that video. Remember the story video that I sent you?
Yeah. Okay, I listened to that again.
So here's the thing. So we can share that story another time, because I want to keep this as short as possible. But how we met on Hangout and all that. So anyway, I was doing a series. I wanted to do a series, and this was really I just wanted to help people. Took a lot of my time, and it really was no benefit directly to me at all. But I wanted to highlight people that were making moves and succeeding, and whether it was their first success or they were just doing really great in this MLM that Tammy and I were, where we weren't direct to each other at all, but we just happened to be in the same community. And so I was 3 times, just on like once a week. I think it was on Wednesdays too, actually.
It was on Wednesday that you asked me.
Yeah, so I wanted to help people tell their stories, and I wanted to show that. And I took some newbies that had just started, and so I was taking people from all different levels. So I invited Tammy, because what a great story that would be. Tammy just comes in, and she's got a whole huge team already. She's excellent at recruiting, such a huge value to the whole community, helping everybody. So I asked Tammy if she would mind coming on this hangout with me and sharing her story. So all I did was introduce, and the whole time was Tammy telling her story. And we got to talking before that and after that, and that was a pivotal moment, wasn't it, Tammy?
It was. For one, I was really, really nervous about talking to you.
Were you
Because
really?
I was like, man, this lady is really good on video. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to really even put my story together. I'm really, really intimidated. Yeah, you didn't know that, but I was. I was very nervous.
No, I did. What reflected on me that day was, throughout that time, I think it was about 45 minutes, you shifted, and I loved that. I knew before that I wanted to work with you, but during that, it's like throughout like the 40 or 45 minutes, you had evolved, and all of a sudden got comfortable talking about your story.
Yeah, I did. I got really comfortable.
And it was just a beautiful thing, and I think that really sealed the deal of the direction. That was it March or April?
March.
And then we actually started working together in May.
May.
So, yeah,
What really got me was the fact
stories are powerful.
What got me was there was no, how can I say this to everybody? I know your battery's going to die, so I don't want you to go. I want you to hear what I want to have to say here. What got me was the fact that you had no reason to do that for me. Like, there was no monetary gain. There was nothing. It was a sideline thing. And I said to myself, what kind of person would actually do that for people? I'd never met anybody like you. I was like, I mean, literally, I had never had any. I mean, yeah, they'd always like say, Tammy, come on and talk, because, you know, you're going to help me with my downline or whatever. And, you know, you're going to help me put a bunch of people. See, because I got so burnt with MLM. You know what I mean? I've got so burnt with my upline, and they just took so much advantage of my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And then I end up getting kicked out anyway. But I was like, man, what kind of person? This person really is giving. So that I got to get to know her more. So that's how it all started. But I was like, wow, that's amazing.
And I wanted to give you that platform to tell your story, because I believe we tell our story differently if we're invited to, than if we're choosing to tell our story because our business depends on it.
True.
And so I wanted to provide a platform for you to tell your story that you were invited to, in kind of interview style. It opens people up to share a little bit more. Like, we were sitting at the coffee shop having a cup of coffee, and I want to know. And I really wanted to know. And then the other thing is, I wanted people to hear about who you are. People need to know who Tammy Montgomery is. And how are people going to know who Tammy Montgomery is if it's not broadcast? People still watch that hangout. It's on my website, and people are still watching it. And that was back in April.
Really?
So
I did not know that.
I mean, people need to know. How are they going to know if you don't share them? And how are you going to share it if you don't have a platform to share it? So that's what I was doing.
What I think was really cool in Pittsburgh is how you and I did the separate who is Susan.
Yeah, we haven't shared them yet.
We haven't shared them yet. Yeah, wait till you guys see those. Wow, that was intense.
I don't like mine though.
I like it.
I was rambling and it wasn't organized. And
You know what? Sometimes that's the best story, though. Like just tonight, I was rambling and I wasn't organized. I wanted people to hear different bits and pieces of who I am and something different. You know what I'm saying? And I know they say to always stick with the same thing when you talk about your story. You know, I was always taught that by Dan Kennedy and all these gurus. Always stick with the same story, and Ron LeGrand and all these real estate guys. You guys ever go to like those seminars and events and it's the same exact story, but you hear it the same way over and over? Well, I kind of am different that way. I don't like that. I like change all the time. I love change. I'm addicted to that kind of like spur of the moment stuff. And you know that too, Susan. I'm not a real, hey, we're going to go to Pittsburgh today. Okay, Zoom, we're there, right? So, I mean, I like structure, sure, but I also like to be spontaneous. That's the kind of person I am. Adventurous. I love adventure.
adventurous. Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I was always told I was too daring. It wasn't good. I was too daring.
I used to jump off of the darn hay mounds in the on the farm, and then my grandpa would be like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? You're gonna break your leg." And I'm like, "Well, I just want to test it, see if I'll bounce off."
Yeah, that's funny.
So, anyways, well, I don't want you to. Your battery's gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna bleep out on us.
Yeah, it's gonna
Thank
bleep
you,
out.
Tammy. This worked out really well. I was a bit concerned because the Hangout just would not open for me at all. So
Yeah.
it worked out fine, and we were able to still show up. So thank
Okay,
you.
and I have an hour and a half before the deadline that I've mailed out today.
Oh, yes.
Email
Yes.
mailed out today, so I got a couple people I got to get back to. So
Absolutely.
definitely texting and stuff
Thank
like that.
you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to those of you who came in and did some engaging and watched us live. If you're watching the recording, thank you for watching the recording all the way through. Whether if Tammy or myself invited you here, there'll be a link below or some way to get in contact with us. If somebody else thought to invite you to here, thank them for inviting you and get back to them and find out how they got involved and
You're welcome, Gail.
how to
You're
get
welcome,
started. Be sure to get back with the person that invited you, and we will see you in the next video.
Absolutely. Thank you, Susan.